So my buddy Nick just grabbed this forklift off of Facebook Marketplace for seemingly a pretty good deal. The price was certainly right, and we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. I want to see what you guys think about that. The old Facebook Marketplace deal here was this forklift ran 2 years ago, had no problems, and then it lost spark, and the guy parked it and never worked on it again. And in hindsight, it is a little strange because we asked him, hey, did you try filing the points? Did you check for power at the coil? And he said, I don't have time for that. But then he also magically had time to drive like 4 hours out of his way to deliver this forklift to a fairly remote area. So kind of think that is a little bit of a red flag there, but we will get into exactly why in just a second here.
The cavalry has arrived.
What do you have here? Allis Chalmers.
Allis Chalmers, something in the 60s, I want to say.
Cool.
All I know about it is basically nothing. I bought it for the configuration. It doesn't run, I was told. It doesn't have spark.
Just spark, right?
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
It does have the dual front drive wheels, which is perfect for the gravel here.
Yep.
We got side shift. We've got
Beautiful.
an inching pedal. We've got 6,000 pound capacity.
Very nice, and a pretty low boom.
Pretty low boom.
You could probably get in your shop with that.
I don't think that's going to
Maybe
get in
not.
my shop, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
I measured nothing.
It's all right. You got a good deal on it. We know that. The old Marketplace special, no spark, but the guy forgot to tell you what? The engine doesn't turn.
The engine does not turn, so I cheated a little bit. I got a bar on it before you got here.
That's all right.
And it does not move.
Well, we will get it moving one way or another. See what we're working with here. The old classic milkshake.
Chocolate.
So it does not have an up-facing exhaust on it.
Is it over full?
It's not actually over full if it's the right
all right.
dipstick, but it is a chocolate sauce. We're used to that. You think this is a Allis Chalmers motor?
Yeah, what do they
Probably.
call them? Gouda or something like that?
Okay. So we have access to the flywheel here, but that's about it because the rear is behind a huge counterweight, and that's a hydraulic pump. So there's a coupler to the other side of the engine, so there's not really a chance of throwing a socket on the crank there. I'm just seeing these images for the first time now as I'm editing this. Nick put a bore scope down the cylinder spark plug holes on this forklift before we even tried messing with it, and these are some pretty disturbing images. I was not aware that it was this bad as we were working on this forklift during this episode. That cylinder looks pretty good. You can see obvious condensation on the walls. That's coming out of the oil most likely. The oil is really milky. And each cylinder is a little different. Like this one, I wouldn't be terrified by that. It's surface rust. It looks like it'll break free. Now this cylinder is really bad. You're actually looking at an intake valve there that's covered in white mold and spider webs. The cylinder wall is extremely damaged. The piston is really chipped up. It is a really tough look in this cylinder here, but he's going to fill these up with oil and we'll try to get her broken loose. And if you don't have the right washers, just RTV it more.
Oh, yeah. It do be.
You like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Typical, not bad. That's the condensation.
Worse in the back, but
Yep.
I expected actually much worse.
I wonder if that water got in through those crappy bushings.
Well, also we got
Because the intake you said was off.
the intake boot is not. Yeah, it looks like this is chewed up and that's not connected.
Couple
So
drops here and there will do it.
remind me before we crank this over. Let's pull that boot off and make sure it's not full of water. Ooh.
That's concerning.
Is that a stuck valve?
The valve does not appear to be stuck. I mean, it's at the same height as this. That's not good. Or it's a bent push rod. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. It's not centered in the hole.
Oh yeah, look at that.
This one's nice and smooth. That one's under pressure. This one spins great. Good lash. Spins good. Spins good. Wonder if she's tight because there's a something else going on here. That one spins good, that one spins good. Something's up with this push rod. So a little moisture damage back here, but nothing that I'm going to freak out about. This push rod is suspect here for sure. It feels bent. That might be unrelated. We may be able to pull and straighten that once we get the motor broke free. That's the persuader there.
Start
We
small.
do have
go
one
big.
bolt on the torque converter there. She's already starting to move. She's going.
Oh, that's better than what we had before. All right.
Oh, she's loose, baby. We're gonna have to go back and forth, but
Yeah, for sure.
that's movement. It ain't froze tight, but it's pretty darn tight. Yeah, give her some torque. Yeah.
Ooh, that's some movement. I like that.
Yeah, it feels better each time. All right, try to get on that bolt again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. That's nice. Flex plate flexing. Oh yeah. Should we put a white dot of paint on that and walk it all the way around? Well guys, that is excellent news. We put this white paint on here. We did a full 360. Fans turning.
Spare battery incoming.
Yep. Valves are turning. Valves are moving, except for this one. So we will get into this when we understand it more.
It's not. The push rod's not moving at all.
I don't know if it moved. I didn't see it go tight, but
Tap test.
tap test. All good. No draw.
Oh yeah. Are we ready?
Let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, she's had a misfire for some time. All right. We got 5 happy cylinders. That's enough to move some equipment, but we'll get picky and get this going towards the end. Give her a crank. Very weak spark,
Weak spark. All right.
but it does have it. So let's get those
You wanna run a
points
meter
cleaned
on
up. Yeah, let's make sure we got 12 at the coil, but then we'll clean up the points.
Yeah,
That might
okay.
fire. Little hands in there. Doesn't the top? Oh, there we go. All right, that's all in good shape. It's got a newer rotor on it. The cap looks good. Yeah. Let's clean up those points.
We'll check the coil
And let's
first
check the
and then-
gap too. Well, you got 9.9 to the coil on the feed side, coil to ground, then you got 8 across it. Yep. Voice things.
Sure.
All right, you want to give her a cranky dank?
Ooh.
Power up.
Not too bad.
Nah, that should fire there, but
Oh, that's all the PB blasts are getting vaporized in my lungs.
yeah, it did smell a little weird. That's why.
I was like, do we have smoke? What?
Do you you pretty confident the plug wires are not mixed up?
I checked the firing order.
Okay. Oh, look at this. That oil gallery's full of water because it's pumping water up into the rockers.
I believe it.
Oh shit! That was a good blow. Was that?
Seen that.
Yeah, there we are.
Give it a good working free.
Yeah. All right, so we're into the distributor now. We're gonna pull this condenser out. I already pulled the points out and the isolator that goes through the side. All this stuff is just really corroded, and any little voltage drop here isn't helping us. The points, despite the filing, are pretty rough. So he's got a set of points for it. We'll put them in as well. And then importantly, we found that the wire between the points and the coil was compromised. So heat shrink the new one. I'm feeling good about it. You put enough PB in the distributor. Well, we figured out why the push rod's bent. I'm just kind of playing with this while he's cleaning up some parts for this. But see how this valve moves? This valve moves. This valve's locked solid. So someone got the motor to turn at some point and it just tacoed this push rod. So that's encouraging. If we can break this valve loose, we've been soaking it from the top with PB Blaster. If we get that valve to move, get that push rod out, replace it, bend it straight, whatever, he's got a chance at hitting on all 6 with this thing again. Also poking around here more, This has got an oil pressure switch on it that is supplying both the propane solenoid up here and power to the coil. So if it's not seeing oil pressure, we're not going to see anything here. Shouldn't. But then the other confusing thing is the other side of this switch is totally disconnected, and we have no idea what's going on with that. So for now, we're going to bypass all the wiring on the machine, focus on the engine, and then he can play with the wiring on the machine once we know this motor's any good. All right, distributor's rebuilt, new wire to the coil. Put this thing back together, see if we get any real spark out of it now. Good. Points are working, condenser's working, coil's working. Now we'll check it on the other side of the...
Check the plugs.
Yeah, we'll check it at the plugs.
Check it at the plug, and then she's ready for ether then, right?
And she's ready for the ether bath. Let's see what happens.
Good?
Yep. I expected some fire there. I expected a little pop there. But we do
cranking slow.
Yeah, she ain't cranking that good,
Was
but
that
I'd still expect a pop.
The battery terminal smoking?
I did see something there.
I'm looking at the...
that's smoking hot.
Look at the gauge of the...
Yeah.
The power wire going to the starter is like double what the
that's like a
battery
real
cable
welding
is.
lead.
Yeah.
This is short. It's a little warm, but the ground, feel that terminal though, it's smoking hot. I don't know, guys, what do we think? I expected to hear at least one cylinder pop off there, and we didn't. Now the cylinders are very flooded with PB blaster and stuff, maybe water, maybe other debris, but maybe a little more cranking speed would be good for us. We're gonna clean up this negative terminal, maybe put the Duramax on it.
I mean, it is reassuring that there was enough PB blaster left in the cylinders to do that.
Yeah, it didn't all leak around it.
Didn't leak, yeah, exactly. It didn't leak through the rings.
Let's try her again. That was a kick. She wants it. I doused her heavy there and she went for it. It's almost like if we flood it with ether, it bumps the static compression up a little bit. So we are suspecting the timing's off, and we're having a little debate here of where cylinder 1 is, and the easy answer would be here, but the engine is turned around backwards. The timing covers this side.
The plugs say this is cylinder 1, but logic says that would be cylinder 1.
And the distributor seems to be wired that this is cylinder 1. The distributor is also loose. We don't know if someone's had it out, so let's pop the cap and see which way she's pointing us here. If we think it's right.
Oh, right.
If we think it's right, then we'll have to find documentation to support otherwise. I'm getting weak. There you go. Totally random.
Okay, so
that is shooting towards cylinder 2.
So we might be in the right order, just the wrong terminal.
It's definitely not exhaust stroke.
I think we're bottom dead.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of cylinder there. Let me keep coming up until those valves start to move. That's part of it. All right, crank her up. It's got good vacuum.
It's probably not advisable, but we're doing it.
It's advisable. We think the cylinders are so soaked with oil from the oil soaking that we're just not making a good mixture in here to get it to light off.
Brake clean is great for your upper cylinder.
Yeah. Alright.
It was a little poppy in the beginning.
Little poppy in the beginning. There is an intake stroke where pressure's coming back. And I'm wondering if it's this. It's pull, 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 pull. But probably because we're not exhausting, so you're making pressure, then you're
it's
not running
open
it
the valve
out.
for compression.
I'm wondering, that's the one that's jammed, but that's not hurting us. It would be this one. We're literally blowing mud and chunks out of the cylinder, and it keeps absolutely destroying these spark plugs. They come out coated in mud every time we crank it.
Interestingly, we also have solids coming out. I'm getting hit in the hand with some scale.
Yeah, there's some rust scale coming out. Oh yeah. There's a good
Did you
chunk.
see it?
Yeah, I saw that. Oh my God. Whew, I don't know about this one, guys. We got chunks of crap coming out of the cylinder, but I still think it's gonna run. I am hopeful this thing will run. Hey, when you are.
Down, Jack.
She's close, but she didn't want it. Just driving home, reflecting on that a little bit. The owner is going to compression test the engine, see where we stand on those 5 cylinders that do work. He's going to put plugs in it because those plugs are pretty bad. I think the compression test is going to tell all. The ignition was pretty easy to fix on that thing. It's really a shame that they let water get into the engine. Back on the Beauty. He's putting a little liquid compression in the cylinders. We got some new plugs for it. And we'll see with a cold starter if we can get this thing to go.
So we've got ATF in the cylinders.
Yep.
We've got our timing double checked. We got a block heater on the oil pan. We're going straight ether again.
Yep.
Cables on the battery from the truck. Try to get as much cranking speed as possible.
All right.
Contact.
Yep.
Woo!
That's running, baby.
That's the first
That's
real
the
run
first
that
pops.
we've gotten out of it.
That's the most we've had.
Should we get the propane on there now? Or do you want to
Run it
try
on
that?
ether a little longer.
Let's do
Let's
it.
see if we can get it to idle.
Contact.
Yep. Let's try to keep it running as long as we can. Oh. Well, that was hitting on, sounded like probably 3
couple,
at least.
yeah.
That's at least 3 cylinders. It's gonna be smoky when she goes.
Yep.
It could also just be all the oil in the cylinders.
And I sent you a picture of the carburetor or mixer, whatever it's called for propane, was absolutely disgusting inside. Full of mud, full of schmoo. I don't know what this thing was running on, but
just mud.
I got it all cleaned out. I got a new diaphragm in it,
Nice.
so
Cool.
we should.
Yeah, we'll hook up the propane next.
Bye.
That came back. All right. Well, guys, a little liquid compression, little ATF down the holes, new spark plugs. It fired there. We got it to run for a couple seconds. It's going to be a smoky mess. He rebuilt the mixerator, carburetor, whatever the heck that thing's called for the propane. So we're going to try to run it on propane now as intended. See what we could do with that. Maybe a little mix of ether and propane to get it rolling while we let this battery charge up. Might as well. I was helping her along.
Oh, okay.
There. Let's see if we can keep it running that way and see what happens. I got the throttle here.
Okay, good.
Huh. Well, I wouldn't say we're running on gas yet, but we'll run on ether, and it runs better on ether with some vacuum.
Yeah, so that that mixer needs vacuum to pull that diaphragm.
Yeah. Well, it runs.
That's a success.
It don't make any power. That was about wide open just to keep it running to do that. Yeah, I was holding her wide for that. So we might be limited on propane flow. Having this cylinder down ain't helping, but I'd say it's hitting on most of the other ones. There's certainly some tomfoolery happening down here with throttle linkage. Everything's like flying apart. I don't know what the heck's going on with this. And the governor was hooked up, but I don't. You got a governor here off the back of the motor, the front of the motor. I don't really know. That's like, I can't get it to respond at all. Throttle input. Yeah, let's let that air out. We just had a huge propane leak. Somebody had the tank off this whole time, so maybe this thing does run.
Idiot.
Who knows? Nice low idle. So guys, the noise you're hearing is we don't have a spark plug in this dead cylinder, so it sounds like a gnarly tap, but this thing is running. Hit the gas pedal, see if it does anything. Wow. Now let's see if she'll start on gas. You might need it. Now the starter solenoid works. There we go. All right, we are running on propane.
Self-fixing.
Yep, self-fixing, baby. Yeah. That's a 5-cylinder beast. It does help having the gas valve on with the power delivery.
Well, it's amazing what a difference that'll make.
Yeah, it's crazy. She's already making some heat. Everything's warm now. Brakes might be sticky too.
Rocks when I let off.
Right, yeah, true. All right, so it starts and runs. Kind of moves back and forth on its own power, but it's not making good power. And I can't hear what's going on running this with no spark plug in it. So we're gonna put some effort into trying to break this valve loose, and then we gotta come up with a push rod or try to get that out. I'm noticing some tomfoolery here. So this stud has a nut on it. This one, the nut is welded to the stud. Likewise there, it's welded to the stud. And that just has a bolt and a bolt. So we need to get this rail of rockers off. And I would hope that this stud comes out of the cylinder head without drama. I don't know why someone welded these, unless they just had regular bolts and they lost them and then just welded these on, maybe. Exactly what happened. I think someone didn't have the right hardware, so they welded a bolt to a bolt. Milkshake, baby. But if they all come out, it's all good with us. Nick's just gonna bore scope this cylinder, make sure that this piston's pretty far down the hole. That way we can start tapping on this valve without risk of whacking the dome. It's going down.
Moving.
Yep. Now before you go too far, let's see if we can get her to come up.
That is keeper friction, I guess. Rust in the guide.
Yeah, probably. It's
Not
seized
keeper,
up in
the
the guide.
guide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's seized up in the guide. It's not the seat.
Should we bring it back up and go?
I think if we can get it to cycle, it'll work. But I don't think that's going to come up easily. I think you're going to have to do some slide hammer action on that.
All right,
But I think if
I
we
can
get the
do that.
rail out of the way, it's going to make things a lot easier.
All right. I'll get the slide hammer. You do that.
Yep. This stuff run. Alright. We're gonna get it, baby. If it moves up like that, you can cycle that thing, we're gonna get it. Dude, it's already starting to bounce.
Look at that.
That's it.
It's free?
It's free. She's bouncing like a trampoline.
You know why is this one so much higher than...
The intakes are lower than the exhausts.
But not that one, right?
Looks the same height to me, doesn't it? look at this one. Look at the difference between those two. I think it's an illusion of the different valve.
Yeah, it is an illusion. You're right. You just got to move my head around.
I mean, that definitely feels a little freer. There's also water coming out of that valve guide seal, so probably somehow water. That actually just came up more. Oh yeah, bring the pretzel. Oh! Wow, if that ain't a liberal push rod. Holy crap. Look at that thing. Oh, don't lose it. We need that. Yeah, we got to do something about that. Lucky to even get that one out.
Ain't got no gas in it.
She's pretty scuffed. We're going to farmer fix that thing. All right, a little more. A little more. A little more. Just that part there. All right. All right, get that. Okay. Let's see where we look now. A little bit there. All right. That side's got the gash in it. She's a little compromised there. A little bit right there. Good. A little bit more. She's soft there. All right, come back on that one. We'll work on it right back. Don't worry. A little bit there. All right. Just in case he's got to build one later. Just taking some measurements before it goes back in.
It moved easier than I expected, but
yeah, for sure. Bloop. Feels like there's still a lifter tappet down there. That's a win, baby. All right, so we got to blow these holes out, and then we can throw that rail back on. Nicely done. Nice fix.
Let's put a plug in there.
Let's put a plug in there and let's run on all 6. Well, that sounds a hell of a lot better now. Quieter. Sounds like a real forklift now. Will it idle? Beautiful. I think it is going to idle pretty low. Maybe not that low though. You know what that noise is? It's the coupler on the hydraulic pump. It's probably got a lovejoy in it and the rubber's gone. That's why when it's not running smooth or you rev it, you hear it, but at fixed speed you don't. That's not the motor. The motor sounds really good. I bet that hydraulic coupler has seen better days. She's a runner, boys.
Touch the idle up a little bit.
I don't know how you do that. If you can figure it out, I'd love to learn.
This guy right here.
Just come on down. There you go. It's starting to slack. There you go, you got it. That was a little tricky there. All right, now back up and then yeah, I guess I can keep going. I don't know. Wow. It's pretty tall.
Some brakes.
Yeah, it kept you from rolling down the hill. They work a little bit. You're up. That's high enough. I mean, that's 4,500 pounds. It lifted that no problem. So it's got some balls. That'll do what you need.
Not even struggling with that.
Now, so that noise you hear there that sounds like the engine sounding terrible is actually when we load the engine up, the hydraulic pump rattles a lot. And it doesn't have an intake on it.
It's a racing forklift.
Seems fast. It needs a low gear. I don't understand. My involvement with this was just getting over here, trying to get that engine broken free and running. It still needs a ton of work, but it does start, run on propane, hits on all 6, all the hydraulics work. He's got a couple leaks to work out. You know, for a lift that you're not going to use every day and just needs to run a couple times a month to do a couple jobs, I think you can get away with an engine in the condition that one's in. But I think as it runs longer, those rings are going to seat back in and maybe that motor will hold together. The lower end sounds good. Now, I know in the video you're going to hear a lot of knocking. Something on the front of the motor is knocking. I think it's the Lovejoy coupler between the engine and the hydraulic pump. But it also could be something to do with the governor. The governor doesn't feel right. The lever that comes out of the timing cover, something's going on there. So maybe that's knocking. Either way, I don't think it's anything that's going to fly apart. The thing's probably been running that way for 50 years. We don't even really know how old it is. Maybe it's from the 60s, maybe it's from the 70s. I don't know. I want you to tell me if you think that forklift was a decent deal or not. He paid $2,000 delivered for it. Typically, when equipment gets delivered there, it costs around $1,500. So you do the math on what that forklift really cost after delivery. Now, it runs, drives, functions, does everything it should right now. There's a couple things it still needs. One, it needs a full-size battery. The battery that's in it right now is a little small. It needs tuning on the propane system. That propane carburetor mixer thing, there's a couple adjustments on that we don't really feel are right. The throttle linkage is a little hokey as well, and the governor doesn't work. You can get away without the governor, but you got to get the idle set right. It needs to idle without keeping your foot on the throttle, that kind of stuff. It's got a hydraulic leak on the side shift circuit. Shouldn't be too bad of a fix. Other than that, it needs an intake put back on it. And it needs just like little things here and there, like put air in the tires and crap like that. But it is a fully functional forklift, and he's at $80 in parts so far, and that's some fluids and I guess the ignition components, the new points condenser, that kind of stuff. Honestly, I think that's a pretty decent deal. It's a decent forklift. It's rated at 6,000 pounds. It'll probably lift way more than that unsafely or safely, depending on what you're doing. With the dual front tires and the air tires all the way around, he was scooting around on the gravel, no problem, which is really nice. A lot of those hard-tired forklifts don't go anywhere in the stone, so I think that'll work out pretty good for him. For a forklift you're going to use just a couple times a month, I think it's a pretty decent unit if the propane system doesn't give him trouble in the winter. I'm not a huge fan of propane-powered stuff. It always seems to be problematic to me. And what you saw there is kind of how it goes with Facebook Marketplace, right? He bought that under the guys that it just didn't have spark, so that's why it didn't run. And really, the engine was locked up, the valve was jammed, the push rod was tacoed. It also had no spark and has various other little things wrong with it. So that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But hauling something like that, we think that thing weighs like 8,000 or 8,500 pounds, and it's non-running. That would be tricky for me to haul. He doesn't have anything to haul that either. So if you can get somebody to show up and deliver that for $2,000 cash, especially considering where he lives, that's really not a bad deal. But I'm curious what you guys think about that, so let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching Spank Ranch Garage. I'll see you next time.